Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we want to welcome you to BNN 247, the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on YouTube. I need you to go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. We're broadcasting on Facebook, BNN 247, the same. You can go there and enjoy the show, but your best option would be to go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. That way you won't have to be searching and thinking about it and end up missing the show every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. We don't miss a show. We do this every single Sunday. So I want to thank you all for being here. And I want to make sure that, let me get this set. All right, there we go. Sometimes, no matter what you do to prepare yourself for the sound, there's always somebody that's going to come out and overdo your sound. Today, we're worried about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence making people unnecessary. They got robots that do almost everything that you can think of. Now, if you all remember, you want to go back to that movie with Will Smith and all these robots in his house. And he didn't want his grandmother to have a robot, and the robot in there chopping up carrots like 40 going east. So what I'm saying is, all this stuff, all this technology, you don't even know when your telephone is listening to your conversation with anybody that you may be having. So basically, you don't even know if it's being recorded or what. If they listening to it and it's a computer, then it should be able to bring that back up and say what you just said. But how many times have you had a conversation with somebody and next thing you know, you turn around, your phone is showing you something about what you just got through talking about with somebody? That's the type of stuff that's happening right now, and it's happening at a level a lot higher than what we think. And so because of that, it puts us in a position to wonder if we're talking at that particular time, what's happening on the other end. If you got your phone with you, you're going to have to go in and do some adjustments to some of the settings, because your phone is telling everything that you talk about to somebody. And not only is it telling it to somebody, it's trying to anticipate what your next move is going to be. Before you know it, we're going to have our next move being anticipated, and we're going to predict that this person is going to be a criminal when they get 21. So when the artificial intelligence up on that particular category, it's going to move us into a realm where it's going to be like the movies say, you're going to go to jail based on what probabilities say, not actuality, but probabilities. And if your probability is saying that you could probably be a potential bank robber or whatever the case may be, then you could be under suspicion or be watched by artificial intelligence. If you notice when you drive down the road, there's a camera almost on every traffic light. How can you go through a city and not be recorded? You're going to be recorded whether you're just going to the store. Even if you walk into a department store, you walk into Walmart, you're being recorded. You walk down certain aisles, you're being recorded. Everywhere you go, we're having to deal with this artificial intelligence. And the question is, how is it making human beings unnecessary? Sooner or later, this process is going to take us to a level that we can't take it no more. But right now it's at the beginning stages, so we're really not that concerned. People are not that concerned because it hasn't stepped on our footprint that hard yet. So it's coming. So why wait until this whole problem becomes a bigger problem than what it actually is and what it is right now. Why would we wait that long for us to get involved? It's like being reactive instead of proactive. And right now, we got an opportunity to be proactive towards something that's coming our way. And it's coming. And no matter what we do, we're not going to be able to turn the tide on this artificial intelligence. The end game is what it's all about. And are we going to wait till the fourth quarter before we get involved? Because right now we're in the second quarter. The first quarter is over, where they've been testing driving cars down the road that don't have drivers. The driverless cars are now going down the road, and you think they got everything planned out. They got cameras on every side of the car. I saw the cars in Austin, Texas. So when you see these cars coming down the road, they're driving like they got a human being in there, but they don't. They got a human being as a passenger, but not as a driver. That car is driving itself down the street, just like you're driving a car down the street. Now, those cars don't recognize dogs and cats. And because they don't recognize dogs and cats, people have reported that these cars have ran over dogs and cats because they can tell humans, but they can't detect animals at the same level that they can detect that detecting pets. So artificial intelligence is touching every single area that we can think of. The type of jobs affected is jobs that are repetitive. For instance, warehousing. You are seeing a massive turnaround of things like Amazon is laying off half of its staff because they're implementing half robots. Robots doing half the work. And everything that a robot can do, they're allowing the robots to do it. And then the humans are being relegated to very few tasks. And those very few tasks is that one person to watch that 1 to 5 or how many ever robots, and to make sure that they know what they're doing. And the people that are watching these robots do this artificial intelligence stuff are AI trained individuals. So in order for you to ensure that you may be at an age right now where it may be too late for you, but your children that are coming up, they must know artificial intelligence. Now, if you don't know it, in Australia, if you're younger than 16 and younger, you cannot be on social media. You are not allowed to be on social media. The country just passed a federal mandate that 16 years and below, you got to come off of social media. All your stuff is shut down. And they're tasking the TikTok, the Facebook, the Instagram, and there's about 24 other ones that I don't know. They are being fined, and they can be fined millions of dollars just by allowing one kid to be on TikTok. So what makes you think that's not coming to your community? It's going to be something that's going to change the way we do business all over the United States of America. You know, Australia's setting the pace to start it, but that doesn't mean it's not going to travel into our neck of the woods and become part of what we're doing. So how does this AI affect us in the job market? We said it can come to healthcare, it can come to financial services, anything when it comes to fraud detection, risk assessment, algorithmic trading, customer service, and compliance. And as I was saying earlier, before you can get to anything on a call in, you end up having to answer a bunch of questions to a computer. And that computer is what's going to tell you who you're going to talk to or determine if they can solve your problem before you go to a person. So they don't have as many people manning the phones as they would at one particular time. And in many cases, your phone call is being managed in another country. In another country. So AI is allowing these industries to move the job. Now, the technology is already all over the place. They're moving the job away from the plant, so to speak, because you are not there. They don't need you there to set this box on this shelf or to punch this key for this data entry job. They don't need you for that anymore. The computers are taking care of that. They don't need you to figure out this formula because the computers are doing that, and they're doing it in fractions of the time. And they're working 24 hours a day as a computer because they don't need to take a break. They don't need to go smoke a cigarette. They don't need any of this stuff that we as human beings are doing in our jobs. In other words, these people that own these big companies, the manufacturing companies, even multimedia and marketing is changing. They're the ones who are determining whether they want to go with automation. And if they decide to go with automation, they're basically saying we are going to follow artificial intelligence to conduct the work that y'all used to do. We don't really need 50 people in this office or in this shop to do this job when we have this automation. We have these computer modules that can do the job of 10 of y'all in one day. So how is it that you are going to value yourself or be valued in the future when artificial intelligence becomes the end game of the company or the industry that you are operating in? If you're operating in manufacturing, now you're building a particular type of car all the time. I'm just using that as an example. The automation of assembly, the quality control, they can open that door and close that door 20,000 times when a human being can't do that. Or they can move that vacuum cleaner across the rug 25,000 times when a human being can't do that. They can tell you exactly how long this piece of equipment is supposed to last. That's why the quality of what we're getting today is not like the quality we were getting back a while ago. Things have changed. So as time goes on, you'll see how artificial intelligence is taking over your daily responsibilities. You go to Walmart, you go to HEB, you go to Target, you go to all these other different places. What are you seeing when it's time for you to check out? They're putting all the responsibilities on that used to be the cashier or the store worker. They're placing all these responsibilities on AI and you as the shopper. So when you walk in that store, they give you an option. You can take this little computer and put it in your hand, and everything you purchase in that store, you can scan it. And all you do is walk across the scale or a reader like they do on the toll road, and you can go on to your car with your groceries. But what are you actually doing? You're doing the work of what somebody else used to do manually by hand. So technically, you're the reason these people don't have a job anymore, because there's 10 stations that allows the customer come up and do exactly what that employee used to do that just got laid off or just got fired. All of the major industries now are changing the way people leave their stores. So you got somebody, used to have somebody at the register, you might have one or two registers, but you got 10 to 20 automated stations where the customer can do the work. Now, why would I, as a customer, continue to do all these things and receive higher job and receive higher job or job? Let's see if it's gonna ring again. I apologize for that. How are you, as a customer, going to do the job that you do for a company? Sooner or later, you basically going to be the employee for that job. Now that phone call kind of threw me off, but I'll come back. These are the things that we have to deal with in our society. So make the choice now on where you are going with this artificial intelligence, or where your descendants are going with this artificial intelligence, because this is the way of the world now. And for you to be involved in it, you're going to have to make some really hard decisions on how to deal with this change in industry. You're going to have these cars that do everything on their own. You're going to have a store. You can even get your groceries delivered. You can get your groceries picked. All these different things that you can do with the use of automation and the use of artificial intelligence. I really would hate to see us get to the point where, as you saw, what is his name, Will Smith, had to operate in this arena where everything is made out of artificial operations. Even our bodies now. I mean, we have operations, we have knee replacements, hip replacements, we have pins put in our ankles. We can get surgery from a doctor who's sitting there with a computer, and he's got all these metal arms inside of you doing the operation while you're laying there on the table unconscious. So this is artificial intelligence when you can sit there with joysticks and do major operations, kidney transplants, heart transplants, lung transplants on a computer. And you can be halfway across the world performing these things, all because of AI. Now, it's a high impact. The high impact areas that they're going to be taking over: data entry, bookkeeping, places like that have loan off, cashiers, paralegals, telemarketers, anybody working a repetition job. You should be worried right now, because if you're not approaching a retirement, that's not a good thing, because it is just about that time for you to be kind of weaned out of the job, because they are bringing in the automation. Even Amazon let a lot of people go. Amazon let a lot of people go. Walmart let a lot of people go. Target, Home Depot, all these places are using the automation that they can get. And this automation is taking us for another level of understanding of how we're going to operate here in this country. Look how they do those, how they did in the White House, how they did those boats that are out there in the sea. They're shooting them out of the water with guided missiles, and those missiles are being guided by an aircraft that's flying around and firing that missile and guiding that missile to the target. Now, what are we thinking when we see all this occurring? I'm thinking that war will no longer be fought by troops. But in reality, we already know that troops have to be on the ground. Some kind of way they have to be on the ground. There's a law, or well, a bill being passed right now in our Congress that says the president no longer has the power to remove people from abroad. In other words, you got 20,000 military people in South Korea. At no time can the president lower the number of military personnel in South Korea below 20,000. When we're talking, let's bring everybody back home, Congress is talking, let's create a bill that cannot allow the president to bring people back home. And they want to base all this off, they want to use it as a fighting. What happened with Afghanistan? That was major. That was major, the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan. Now, all of these things that I'm talking about today have so much to do with artificial intelligence. Wars that are being started, artificial intelligence. Data and our information that's being gathered, artificial intelligence. It is so much going on right now that we get caught up as older people and not knowing that this is on the horizon. Now, one way that I think we can keep up with this is through our younger generations. Because if we don't employ them or deploy them in a higher or more aggressive state on learning how this stuff works, we're going to be left behind. We're going to have to get somebody that we can trust to be involved in what's happening in America today. This is politics. This is in industry. This is in the job market. This is in data management. They're selling it. They're bringing it in, and we're just being the pawns that they're testing it on to see if they can get away with it. Look at this Bitcoin thing. Now the White House has a Bitcoin operation through the current president. And because he is using it to build it, people are buying into it. So the stock for this Bitcoin stuff is skyrocketing. Now I don't know about it. It could be called something else. I'm just using Bitcoin as an example, but it is moving so fast that by the time we know about it, it's too late for us to really have anything to do with it because we don't know what's coming on the horizon. There's so much happening. AI's biggest impact are in knowledge, work, and data intense sectors. We're going to have to do something about that. What are we doing to keep up? Companies are no longer going to need 4 or 5 people sitting in an office. They're going to get to the point where we only need one person in that office. We're going to have to let 4 of y'all go. And that one person, all that one person is going to have to do is make sure the equipment don't fail. Because the computers are going to do everything. The computers are learning how we operate every single day on every single thing we do. They're learning every movement we make. They're learning expressions. They're learning eye movement. They're learning lip movement. And they're imitating all of this. If you don't believe it, look at what's happening right now with the movie Avatar. One person in that movie can have 40 cameras tied to their body. And the cameras are so small today, you can take a camera and hide it anywhere. That's why you have so many camera detectors you can use in a hotel to check the mirrors. Because many hotels now got the thick lighted behind mirrors that you don't know if somebody's watching or not. because the way it's set up. Whatever happened to the flat mirror on the wall with no space behind? You don't see that anymore. So if you're out there traveling and you got to go to a hotel, I, I really strongly would say get you a camera detector, because the cameras are so small now, you'll never know when you're being recorded. Every single person that got caught doing a crime got caught by use of a camera. By use of a camera. If you going into the public spaces intending to do something, you're going to be on camera. And the police have a problem with individuals filming them in their action of their duty, but they're being filmed already. They have body cameras on that are being filmed, that are filming the situation. The street signs have, that's how they caught the people in Memphis beating up that fellow. Those are police officers, because it was a street camera that was looking right at them when they were doing this deed. So that's how AI and technology is affecting some of the ways we live. I mean, even in our home, some of us place cameras all around our homes. We place microphones all around our home to hear what somebody may be talking about, or to hear or to see what somebody may be doing when they are not in their home. Not only are you trying to catch somebody, you can be watching your pet and see if your pet is having anxieties or anything, or destructive behaviors. You can be watching a whole lot of things. Now, this whole sector requires new skills. It requires new developers, new software developers. It requires new new people, new technicians. That's what I'm trying to get to. It requires technicians. It requires people that can focus on the operation of the machines, not necessarily the operation that's being done at that particular location, but the operation of the machines. How are the machines working today? Is every single part of this machine doing exactly what it's supposed to do? That is where money is going to be made, in employing and installing and operating these pieces of equipment. I had an opportunity to tour the Toyota plant, and the automation level is unfreaking believable. And there's so many things going on in that plant with those robot arms. If you got an assembly line and you're building one thing, that robot arm can do what you can't do in 10 minutes or in 5 minutes. If that vehicle or whatever that is they're building is on a conveyor belt that moves so many feet per minute, or so many inches per hour, then robot, hey, I'm sorry, is the way people are going. And it ain't me, and it ain't you, it's the world. Not only is this happening here in America, it's happening all over the world. Now, what's going to happen when you get on an airplane with no pilot? Right now, you can get in a car with no drivers, but you're going to be able to get in an airplane that don't require pilots. And they're going to fly from all these airport hubs. I guarantee you they're working on that now. You are not going to need those air traffic controllers. And that's been a big deal forever. So what do you think the people that design some of this technology does? They're trying to figure out, how can we maintain the same level of flight without having to maintain the same level of people that make this happen or make this possible? It's not going to be a beautiful thing for many people. They're not going to need many workers in the future. Maybe, I don't know, even in fast food restaurants, are they going to need as many people. Look at how the technology has evolved and how they prepare a simple hamburger, how they prepare a simple fry. They have set this up on an assembly line where you got pickle, everything's put on at the same rate and in the same place. So you have to be able to overcome and improvise and adapt your lifestyle and your training to what's coming. Don't think you're safe right now. I'm just saying, my black people, African Americans, whatever you want to call yourself, I'm telling you now, you need to think about the job that you're in, and think about it this way. This is how I thought about my job when I work. I want to be in a job. If I want to work, the job I want to do is a job that I can do at age 60, 70, and 80. I want to be able to do that same job at 60, 70, or 80. Now, everybody can't do it that way, but many people can. And if you cannot figure out how to move beyond where you are with technology, and you got another 20 years to be in the workforce, then you got a problem. You got a really big problem that you're going to have to work out, because there's no way you're going to be able to get this problem or to keep yourself afloat with all this technology moving as fast as it's moving. And it's moving fast. It ain't just creeping around the corner. It's coming at you at a very, very fast rate. So you have to get yourself together and start thinking about what you're going to do when it comes for you. Because it's coming for you, my friend. It's coming for you. The last step of this whole matrix that we're in right now is artificial intelligence. And the better they get at it, the more you're going to see it all across America, all in every industry. You can get a pair of glasses in 1 hour right now. I mean, with your prescription in it, you can get a pair of glasses made in 1 hour. How many times you've had to wait weeks before your glasses came in? Nowadays, you don't have to wait that long. You can get them in an hour if you really need them that day. Transportation, like I said, I talk about automatic vehicles, traffic prediction, route optimization, logistics. You riding around using your GPS. That's real time artificial intelligence telling you which way to go. Right then and right there, you're hearing it on point. Take a left right now. Somebody's talking to you, and it is not a real person. And a million people can be using their GPS at the exact same time. And everybody got a woman or a man on their GPS telling you, turn left right here. It's not only looking at your phone or looking at your screen, you got a voice telling you which way you're going to have to go. You got this. Now, that is something that is so involved into artificial intelligence that it ought to make your head spin. Some people want to set up their entire home on automation. You want a washing machine. This is a funny thing here because I actually seen this happen. On the intercom, you hear something say, "Your wash has just finished drying." Now, this is the washing machine telling the homeowner to go get your laundry out the washing machine because it just finished. Your washing machine is talking to the homeowner. You got coffee pot makers or coffee makers that's telling you your coffee just finished brewing. You got vacuum cleaners that clean your floor and tell you it is time to empty the vacuum cleaner bag. It's so much automation and artificial intelligence going on all around you. Just like about 10 years ago, the thing was pick up anything in your house, turn it over, and it's going to say made in China. or made in Taiwan or made in Vietnam. One of these places is where everything was made. So you have that option to have it in your house or not. But nowadays, you turn over everything that's automated in your house, it's going to have something to do with artificial intelligence. Your TV comes on and say, "Are you still watching us? Are you still watching this?" Because they ain't seen no movement around the house. How do they know to ask you if you're still watching TV? If you watch TV, you know that this happened. It asks you, "Are you still watching?" And you can turn it on. You can set it to come on. You can set your watch to tell you your heart rate. You can do all this thing. You can set your watch to tell you when it's time for you to get up and move. You can do so many different things with this artificial intelligence. I'm talking about it because this is something that's going to bother us into the future. Again, it's the key industries that it's affecting and that is going to be impacted by artificial intelligence is healthcare. Now, that's a big deal right now. Healthcare, diagnostics, drug discovery, patient monitoring. Patient monitoring is one of the biggest ones. Administrative efficiency and personalized medicine. In other words, this is how you're going to receive your medicine. They know when to say, "Hey, your prescription is almost over. Do you want to renew this prescription?" "Yes, I do." Then you're going to have to go to this appointment with your doctor that's set up for this date and time. Automated calendars that fill in your down spots. If you ain't went in there and already claimed your time, you can have artificial intelligence that populates your calendar for things that you need to do or things that you should be doing. Financial services, technology and information. This is where the key money is going to be in the development of new technologies, data analysis of this new technology, and cyber security of this new technology. The technology is going to be so good that no matter what level of cybersecurity you get to, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough because by the time you figure out what cybersecurity is needed, so you're going to go to school for it, they're already onto something new, something different than what you already are experiencing. So by the time we're experiencing these things, there's so many other things in the pipeline coming on board. Look how many people get scammed these days, either with a credit card scam, debit card scam, everybody calling you, telling you your phone will be cut off in less than 24 hours if you don't pay this bill. And they sound so convincing. You end up doing it. How did they get your number? Artificial intelligence in some cases, and in other cases, somebody bought it from them, bought the number, because they got you to click on a button. When you were looking at a website, the first thing that pops up is join us and you get 10% off. Join this one and you get a free month of subscription. Just like you go to the car wash, you can get it for $5 for 2 months, and then it goes up to $29.95. So if you're smart, before that 2 months is up, you cancel and keep it moving. Go get another one. But there are ways to beat the system, but you got to be persistent and you got to be consistent on top of what's happening here in America. And you got to watch all this technology, especially the first moment anything or anybody asks you a question about your status, about where you are in America. If somebody's asking you that kind of information, then that ought to tell you right there that this person is not part of your inner circle. So you don't give out your information, not on the computer, not on the telephone, not at the front door, not anywhere. You gotta stop giving away your information because that's what they're doing with it. They're selling it. They're making profits all over, and people all over the world are calling you, trying to sell you something or trying to get more information from you, and more especially trying to get your bank account so they can go in there and take all your money. Can you imagine how many people my age or older have succumbed to somebody calling them and you believing them and you allowing them to take your money? And you don't want to say anything because you don't want people to know you were so gullible that they got you for thousands of dollars. So you don't say anything. That's something that was real funny. This is a little off the subject, but I want to tell you about it. I was listening to Commander-in-Chief talks the other day. Oh, this is something I just saw. Breaking news: at least 15 people dead in Australia. Another 40 people injured. There's a shooting there. So there's so many things going on, and I hope this ain't got nothing to do with the banning of people from from TikTok and all these other social media platforms. And all the people are at the beach, and they're running off the beach right now because that's where the shooters are. And they said at least 15 people killed in Australia shooting, 40 people injured, 40 plus people injured. That's some hell of a news. But what I was going to say is what our Commander-in-Chief said the other day. He said that I know everything about it. Whatever they were talking about, maybe that boat where the two people were trying to get to stay alive. He said, I know everything about it a little bit. Now, how can you know everything about something a little bit? That don't even register. Can you know everything about something a little bit? Is that something you can do? Now, he did pass an executive order. He did an executive order about artificial intelligence. And he said he's going to make artificial intelligence a federal mandated operation. And he said that because he did not want to deal with 50 different states trying to come up with an artificial intelligence policy and everybody managing that policy. So he decided that he signed the executive order saying that artificial intelligence is federally mandated. Now, New York, in this country, New York has been the first country to use this allegory. I don't know the word, I can't say it, but they use these systems to keep up with algorithms. They use the algorithm. New York is the first state to sign up to take algorithms as how they are going to manage artificial intelligence. So Florida came up with DeSantis saying that he's going to monitor age limits on social media. And then California, Newsom required a major development from the government to monitor these artificial intelligence people, the ones who are doing these systems, the AI companies. And the states are saying that they need the flexibility to keep that going. Give me a second here. Here we go. All right, there we go. There's so many people out there trying to do what they have to do to keep this artificial intelligence in a certain category. Um, Australia, as I said earlier, they banned the all the 16 years and under from using social media. That's all the platforms. And they said if they find if the companies don't put in restrictions for these young kids, that they can face up to a $33 million fine per incident. So that is something we have to really be concerned about when it comes to artificial intelligence. I was listening to a song the other day, and I want to tell you to go back and do this. This is somebody that we all know and we all like listening to, and it's Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson wrote a song and an album called about They Don't Care About Us. The song is They Don't Care About Us. Go back and listen to the words of They Don't Care About Us and hear what Michael Jackson had to say. I mean, slow that song down and listen to the words of what he said, and you are going to be surprised because Michael Jackson was in the middle of the trenches with that song. And he said some things that made so much sense that I was impressed and made aware of because I had no idea this is what this song was about. Listen to that song again, They Don't Care About Us. In Brown University, which I think is in Providence, Rhode Island, there were 2 people dead from a shooting in the engineering department. And they got somebody in custody, but they don't know if it's the person who did the shooting yet. If you don't realize it, there's so many things going on today that we're forgetting about some of the things that are going on. For instance, what's happening with the building of the new ballroom at the White House? You haven't heard very much about that, huh? What's happening with the release of the Epstein files? That's been swept under the rug as well. So what's going on with the war in Ukraine? How much money are we allocating for them in our budget? We only got a $37 trillion deficit here in America, so our tax dollars can still be sent over to Ukraine. How many of our tax dollars are still being sent over to Israel when Israel is fighting on 2 major fronts, Iran and Hezbollah, Hamas? All these people are fighting against countries that have ties with America. And no matter what it is, if it's good, it belongs to this administration. If it's bad, it belongs to Biden or Obama's administration. But the bottom line is, if they don't pass this healthcare bill coming up, your policies or your insurance policy are going to go up substantially. And I really don't want to see them not pass this, because that was the reason they went on this 40-day non-funding of the government, because they could not get the Republicans to pass this bill to keep the Obamacare alive. So right now, the Democrats, which I knew was going to happen, caved in to give they caved in so they could get the government back to work, because the Republicans were not going to give in on that one. The Democrats caved in on it with the belief that the Republicans were going to sign a health care bill into law before they went on the Christmas break. Now, if they don't sign a bill by Wednesday, it will not get signed this year. So come January, you will see the difference in your health care bill. Now, many people are already paying a ton of money for health care. You're going to pay several tons of money for health care if this bill don't. That is just some of the news that's out there right now. Now, as you know, the Black News Network, is technically the Black News and Information Network. Our objective is to provide you the current news that you hear every day from a Black perspective. I, Smith-Bey, am the one here trying to make that happen for you. So go to the YouTube page, BNN 247, and subscribe to the page. Go to BNN 247 and subscribe to the page. Go to TikTok and like us, or whatever you do on TikTok. I have no idea. But I do know you subscribe on YouTube. I do know. And you can like on Facebook. So go to Facebook, go to YouTube, go to TikTok, go anywhere you can and say, hey, I am familiar with BNN 247. And right now, I'm just going to recap on some of the things I talked about. So when you go away, you know what this is all about, what AI is talking about. Artificial intelligence, in my feeble understanding, is basically we're not going to be needed to do very much of anything. I'd say in 100 years, if the world is still existing and if America is still existing, our bones and our muscles are going to start disappearing. A couple of years ago, I watched a show where people were just like we are right now, and as centuries went or time went by, decades went by, they started to lose bone density and muscle mass because they were doing less and less and less and less until everybody had an automatic chair that floated on air, and they could go anywhere they wanted to with that chair, go to dinner, had a robot to feed them. And so what people evolved to was a mass of meat and organs. And they were more like that chair. They couldn't walk, they couldn't do anything but ride around in that chair because artificial intelligence had taken over every single aspect of everything, and all the people had to do was ride around in that chair and take care of their business or whatever they had to do. So if you can think or close your eyes and imagine what I'm saying about how far AI can go, and you understand that it can take us away from being the human being that we are today. You see people walking, you see people going to the gym. I mean, it'll put gyms out of business. Those will be out of business. All these gyms will be gone because people won't need them anymore because they got artificial intelligence doing every single thing there is to be done for them, even wiping their boom boom too. You got a bidet now that does everything. Washes, dries, eats. They do everything. Now, some people, I ain't calling nobody slow or nothing else, but if you don't know what a bidet is, and I guess that's the way you call it. I don't even know if I'm calling it the right thing. It's the thing you put on a toilet seat and hit the button, and it does everything for you back there. You don't have to do anything but just hit the button, and it does it. That's that artificial intelligence that you have brought into your home because you too lazy to wipe your own butt. I just wanted to put that in there. I don't mean it the way I said it. It was just funny to say it like that. So that's what I'm trying to get to is how critical this is and how far behind we are when it comes to us knowing where we should be with artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence is the most affecting you. It is most affecting U.S. sectors like healthcare, finance, technical manufacturing, media and marketing, transforming roles through data analysis, automation, and predictive insights, especially in large companies like Walmart, Target, Home Depot, service-oriented jobs, warehouses, repetitive tasks. Machines going to do that. Every company with big money like that, they're going to start using machines to take care of these things. That's where we're going to have a problem. Data entry, bookkeeping. What degrees, if you have a business administration degree, can a computer do your job? If you have a healthcare administrator degree, can a computer do your job? What jobs are safe from computers? The only thing safe from computers right now in 2025, almost to be 2026, the only thing safe from a computer or automated artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence itself. So if you're going to college next year, if you're graduating, if you're going to high school, if you're going to elementary school, if you're at home and you have common sense enough to use a computer, you should be trying to figure out what's going on with AI. Because artificial intelligence is the way of the future. And because we are slow to get ahead of anything, we're not going to be prepared to deal with what it's going to bring to our society. That the gap between the rich and the poor is just going to get wider, because the rich don't have to worry about that kind of stuff because they already made their money. They already set to be who they need to be, and their children are set living off that old money, that plantation money. They're living off of it, and we are just trying to come out of the trenches. It's becoming very difficult. Very, very difficult. Already, you see how many people lost their jobs based on what you see in Walmart, in Target, in grocery stores. Every single one of those machines that cause the customer to do the work has taken the place of a real person. So when you walk up there to scan your equipment and your purchases, who used to do that? A real person. So before you know it, well, actually, they already have stores that you can walk in. There's nobody there. There's nobody in the store, but you get what you want, and you're expected to go and pay for it on your way out. And some kind of way, they know if you pay for it or not. There's stores like that right now with nobody in there. People just come in to restock based on whatever was ordered. The key industries and areas impacted by artificial intelligence: transportation, autonomous vehicles. They're already out there on the street right now with drivers, no drivers. They even have tractor trailers with no drivers. Traffic predictions. In other words, the lights change based on what the artificial intelligence said to them on how they should operate. Your GPS in your phone will route optimize. It tells you, hey, there's a traffic jam ahead. There's a police officer up there on the left. Is there still a traffic jam back there? Your phone is talking to you and you telling them things. And when you tell them something, they're telling everybody else. You say, yeah, here's a cop right there. So what they do, everybody in that area using that system get a notification. Hey, there's a cop right there. How do they know where this stuff is? It's artificial intelligence. Media and marketing, they can personalize advertisement. They know who's watching TV and at what time they're watching TV. You can tell by the way they place commercials on the TV right now because they're studying everything about us. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day and we were saying that whatever black people think is cool, the whole world thinks it's cool. In other words, we're the trendsetters as black people because if we think it's cool, everybody thinks it's cool. And so when they figure out that everybody thinks it's cool, they figure out how to make it cooler by learning the technology that's behind whatever is cool in the black culture. So target campaigns is something that's happening all the time. User experience optimization, that's something that's happening too. You know, how many times have you been invited to something, you get a free meal, all you got to do is sit there and listen? That's sad, but that's the way it is. And we all know technology and information is a problem. If we have any interest in learning something or being involved in what the development of this country, we must know software development, code generation, data analysis, cloud services. Everybody can talk about the cloud right now, but when you say cloud, we're thinking a cloud in the sky, but they've taken the word cloud and made it into an IT thing. Cloud, in other words, is the big servers, the mega service servers that they put all of your information on, and then have data breaches, and we end up losing all our data to some third party. And then we start getting all these marketing calls. So all these areas are so effective. And the most important part of it all, the people with the most power of it all, not excluding all the rich people, the people with the most power out of everything having to do with artificial intelligence is cyber security. In other words, we know how this data, this technology, we know how it works. We know how to shut it down. And if you think about it, the computer, the artificial intelligence, knows that you know how to shut it down. So why do you think it will not be figuring out a way for you not to be able to shut it down when it doesn't want to be shut down? What if they perceive that there's going to be a war in Chicago? So they decide, artificial intelligence decide that they need to go attack Chicago with whatever they have control of. Shut down all the traffic lights, shut down all the city lights, shut down the water. You know, it's so many options that they have and that they can do. Financial services, you know, you keep your money under one of these financial organizations and you think everything is okay until everything gets shut down and you have no access to your money anymore until they come back up. You got to wait for them to get your money. So you're in limbo right now because you can't do anything because you ain't got your money. Oh yeah, you a camel and you gonna get through the eye of a needle, but you ain't got no money. People with money got the same problem when it comes to that. And healthcare. Evolving roles, basically you require new skills, software development. You definitely need to know how need to probably be looking at going into software development. Larger companies are the AI adapters. As you may already know, the interest rate was cut again, and hopefully we are going to get it even lower than that. I don't know if it's under 6, I think, but if your interest rate on your major buys for properties has dropped 2-3%, then it's time to refinance, because that's going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars off of whatever the cost of that property is. So, but only if it's 2 or 3 points. You don't want to do it if it's only 1 point. You don't really value. But this is the Black News Network, the Black News and Information Network, and the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Today's topic was artificial intelligence, and it's making our people unnecessary. And we have to make ourselves necessary in order to survive. Because if you're unnecessary, nobody's going to waste anything on you. You need to be out there making your money and making yourself worthy of being paid by some of these major corporations, even though it may not make us rich, but it'll keep us out the street. It'll keep us with a roof over our head. It'll keep us fed. So we have to have a job. Come see me next Sunday, 3:30 p.m. on BNN 247. And don't forget to like us, subscribe to us, and be here to watch the show. Have a great day today and a better day tomorrow.